Cloud Kingdom. So let's introduce these two players. Up in the top right position, spawning as the blue Protoss from Team Axiom, it is CranK. And down in the lower left, the red Zerg from Team Dignitas, Tefel. So Todd, tell us a little bit about what CranK may be looking to do on this map. What would be good? What would be great?
CranK is a very aggressive player, so anything with some early on aggression, that's his style. Whether it's a 4-gate pressure, a Stargate play with some additional gate pressure, whether or not it's with +1 or with a Mothership Core. I think I've watched a show match of CranK versus Ghost User once, and he was playing very aggressively. He mixed it up. It was a best of maybe 7 or 9, so there was a lot of games, and he was really changing strategy every single game. But what all these games had in common was that he kept on being aggressive. And one thing I think that I've seen him do very often against Zerg in Heart of the Swarm would be to get one Zealot and then 2 Stalkers, a Mothership Core, and escort a probe out on the map to make proxy pylons, and just go for some kind of early aggression, whether it's with lots of gates or not. This is very strong, and it will force the Zerg to get roaches early on. If he gets speed links, he's going to need a whole lot of links to deal with this.
You're sounding exactly right. So, I mean, while we're waiting to see what these two are going to do this game, and I mean, it looked like it's going to be a Nexus first anyway out of CranK. What were your thoughts on, I know you were watching, the CranK v Hero Marine game, where that was a bit of an upset for a lot of people?
Yeah, I mean, Hero Marine has been doing very well against Protoss. There was just a cup played at Tech's house in Germany, and I think Hero Marine beat 3 very good Protosses there, including, I think, Soccer and Hazups. I might be wrong, don't quote me on this, but I think he beat some very good players there. And I've lost to him in ladder very recently, so I know how good he was. And yeah, he played very well. CranK just barely lost, and I'm not too surprised by it, to be honest.
Fair enough. So what we're seeing at the moment is just fairly standard openings from both these two guys. Tefel went for the spawning port into a hatchery, just what you'd expect. Now he's got the Overlord over. Seeing that it was a Nexus first, he should get a relatively quick third base around the 4-minute mark. Nothing too surprising. The Forge only just finishing up now for CranK. That's fine. And then probably 2 gas on their way shortly. So really, it's all about the third base, in my opinion, on this, and how aggressive you can be, because there's a really quite wide opening, and you've got that gap where you can get great force fields between the hatchery and block it off. Do you think that means that, well, in Wings of Liberty it was Immortal Sentry all in. Do you think that's something that CranK's going to be trying to exploit?
Against somebody like Tefel, who gets Zerglings and Hydralisks, I feel like Immortal Push is going to be much worse than against other players. So there is a window in which it could work, but CranK is not really known for his Immortal Push. He's able to do it sometimes, but he's no parting.
Yep.
So I don't think we're going to see that out of him. And Tefel, he's very good at droning, injecting, getting out a lot of units. I think if CranK was to try that, there is a very low chance it would actually succeed. And Tefel, I like what he did here. He saw that there was a Nexus first. He delayed his Zerglings for a very long time. He preferred to get more drones in the start. And this is going to be pretty good for him in the worker count here. In a minute, he should be able to pull ahead at around 40. Usually at around 40, that's when Zerg starts pulling very far ahead, especially when they go for 3 hatches this early on. But as I said, CranK, he likes to play aggressive. He's added on 2 assimilators in his main, and we're going to see here in a second exactly what he chooses to go for. Will it be a Stargate? Will it be a Robo? What do you think?
I reckon Stargate's a good option, because for exactly the reasons you said. Tefel, he is known for going for Hydras, going for a lot of Lings. The Robo would mean that he can't really do much with Robo and Gateway Tech, but likewise, there's lots of different options available, and it's hard to predict because it's ultimately what CranK feels like on the day. We saw against Hero Marine, he tried to use Oracles a lot, so he's open to that sort of strategy, he's open to that harassment style play, but it didn't work out too well for him. And you've got to think from his perspective, you know yourself as a pro player, if something doesn't work out early on, it can sit with you and think maybe that's not what I want to go for later on. But 3rd and 4th gas just getting added on, and we should get it all revealed very shortly.
And before 6 minutes, that's very early gases here.
Yep.
This might be many things. He started +1. He might just go for a 3rd here with lots of sentries, maybe a Mothership Core and some Robo play, but it could also still be Stargate. But he's going to neglect mining the mineral studies expansion by mining this much gas. Now, will he invest this gas into some early aggression or some gas heavy tech early on, or is he mining it for the future? We do see 3 gates going down right now.
And that's a bit of an interesting choice. It's just going to be really sentry heavy. That's the only thing that you can really spend that much gas on at the moment. So this in itself creates quite an interesting thing, and there goes the Robo. So
he just gonna boosted once his Wargate and +1, so we might see some aggression, although he hasn't sent a probe out on the map just yet. And when you go sentries like this, it's going to be significantly harder to reach your opponent's base without meeting Zerglings and being able to defend your probe and your pylon. So CranK, his style right now is a little bit contradictory. Maybe if he goes for a third and some heavy tech, if I see him throw down a Twilight Council now, I guess this would make a lot more sense, but he's not making it just
Well,
yet.
he's just actually building a photon cannon right by his third, so I think you're right on the money there that he is going to try and chuck that down. He's trying to secure it, and there goes the Nexus indeed. So great read there, and just in the same way as a good read you said earlier, that Tefel likes getting a lot of Zerglings out. He's got 14 on the field, which is not something you often see Zerg players do unless they've got a particular reason. Most favour just getting as many drones as possible. So perhaps CranK could get a little bit of aggression in here, but with the Mothership Core, with the cannon, I think he should be absolutely safe with what Tefel's got out for the time being.
And Tefel is made a Roach Warren, but this is a safety Roach Warren. He does not want to use it. He would prefer not having to make any roaches, so he's not had to make any single one just yet. He's getting 12 additional drones. He started the fourth base as soon as he saw the Nexus go down on the third base of CranK. And I think he's just going to try to make as many drones as possible, and then from there go into any type of tech he chooses to go for. But right now he's going for the Infestation Pits. We do not have a Hydralisk Den just yet in this game as Robo Bay goes down for CranK.
So this Infestation Pit almost certainly going to be for Swarm hosts. It's really the best option you can go for. Infestors haven't really been used that much in Heart of the Swarm. But this fourth base from Tefel really early on in direct response to that really quick third. So he's responding, he's playing reactively incredibly nicely. But this Hallucinated Phoenix for CranK just getting all of the information he could ever hope for. And he's seen everything. He's seen the Infestation Pit, seen the Rotron, seen the Lair. Everything that he could possibly want to know, apart from that fourth base, is being revealed.
And CranK, he had actually misrallied a couple probes by his expansion. They were idle for some time, so his economy not going to be as great as it could have been. But right now we have Tefel on 74 drones, CranK on 58 probes, and Tefel is going to have such a great economy. He's getting a couple of Swarm hosts, and behind this, he's getting a Spire. He's taken the 2 extractors on his fourth base as soon as possible. So I think I'm going to take a gamble here, and I'm going to say he's getting those Swarm hosts to buy himself time to get a lot of Mutas, maybe, or this might be Corruptors, but those Swarm hosts, he's getting only 5, 6 right now. If he does get them and burrow them near his fourth base or his natural, those are going to be defensive Swarm hosts. He's not going to look to push. He's going to want to be safe and just get a lot of Mutas to start harassing his opponent. And he did get a bunch of Roaches as he's getting speed right now as well.
Well, the information for Tefel actually isn't that great. He has very little knowledge about what his opponent's doing, and the one thing I don't know what your thoughts are, but Tefel getting that Spiral, I could be going for Swarm Host Corruptor in response to Colossi, but with those 3 Stargates now in production, CranK's just going to be pumping out lots of Void Rays. Void Ray Colossi has been really strong against Zerg all throughout the hot speeder and also now released. So how, in your mind, can Tefel respond to that?
I think, CranK.
CranK's taken a hidden expansion actually up at the top left.
Yeah, but he saw the Spire and he's going for three Stargates right now.
Yeah.
He's just going to get a lot of Phoenixes and he should do really well against Mutas if it is Mutas. We have 1 Corruptor on the way right now, 2, 4. And, well, I guess Corruptors might be the right choice here, because if he was to get Mutas against a lot of Phoenixes, he would not do well. So he might actually end up going for a big tier 2 push like Dimaga used to do during the beta, where you get a lot of Swarm hosts and then you get Corruptors in support to face against these Colossi or even kill Observers. If your opponent attacks into you, he will need an Observer to detect those Swarm hosts, but then you have an Overseer and Corruptors. So I think Tefel is actually going for a big push here.
Indeed, it very well could be. So the one thing, this hidden base is going to be really quite influential because Tefel has no idea it's there, but he's already starting to move forward up in towards the third. The Mothership Core straight away blowing Photon Overcharge really quite early. The single Colossus having a bit of difficulty with just so many Locusts, and really CranK can only buy himself time with those force fields because the Locusts are going to keep coming and coming, which is going to be a bit of a problem, but the Void Ray count is starting to get pretty substantial. 6 going to be on the field very shortly indeed.
CranK needs to buy more time here. I'm actually surprised he didn't try to force field again. He has quite some energy on those sentries. He's going to pull back. 1 Colossus almost going down here. Is he going to lose it?
We've got, actually going on at the same time with this, a big Zealot warp-in going into the natural and third base of Tefel. This is doing a really large amount of damage, but then the Swarm hosts are still pushing up. But for the moment, CranK managing to hold that off. And to be honest, Tefel's having to defend with drones at the moment until these roaches came in. And he lost 10 workers there, taking the count actually in CranK's favor, 73 to 67.
Yeah, this was a hit, but not that much of a big hit, as we do have extra Zealots being warped into the main of Tefel. He's going to be able to get rid of those. Tefel is very fortunate that he went for Roaches. With only Links, it would have been that much harder to defend this, but Tefel right now is going to keep the pressure on. He keeps on spawning Locusts to really try and put some huge pressure on CranK's third base, as CranK is only going for Void Rays right now. He's getting +2 attack.
And there was just so many Corruptors there. We're seeing that the Void Rays actually getting focused down very effectively. And this is a battle that CranK is not winning for the time being. Tefel nearly maxed out. He's pushing forward more and more. The Swarm hosts are going to be sending wave upon wave of Locusts through. And CranK seems to be in some real problems.
Yeah, it's dropped down a lot of supply here. Tefel will be permanently maxed for the remainder of this game, I think, as he's really well saturated on 4 bases. Locusts, they keep streaming in. They're going to take down this Nexus here in a second. And I think CranK, he realizes he cannot take on this army. He's going to move out and try to counterattack, but he doesn't have a Mothership core to help him recall if he has to.
Yeah, he had that taken out by those Corruptors very early on. CranK now supply blocked as well. This hidden base to the very top left of the map could be helpful, but as we're seeing, CranK, he's getting a good number of Zealots warped in. He's using this Warp Prism harassment very effectively, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the composition by Tefel here should be able to deal with this army as... Oh, there is a lot of Void Rays.
Yeah, those Void Rays with Prismatic alignment are very, very powerful against Corruptors being armoured, and it's actually forcing Tefel back for the time being. But no doubt about it, CranK is still in trouble. The only thing that's going in his favour is that he's killed 33 drones with this Zealot harassment.
And this is so smart by Tefel. He waited until CranK activated Prismatic alignment with his Void Rays, and then he pulled back. He's going to wait for it to expire, and then he's going to engage again. Right now he's just waiting for the Locust to deal extra damage to CranK's army. CranK, he actually went for the dual Cybercore by his expansion. He really thought he was going to be left alone for some time and he could go for mass air, but right now he has a couple Zealots slicing up some drones in the main of Tefel.
He's not even responding to it. He's just happily trying to own base race, but he doesn't know about this base up to the top left, which could actually be a bit of a problem for him if CranK just decides to all out and go and kill him.
And CranK might play the base trade here. He might try to eliminate his opponents. I think he's trying to make enough Void Rays to deal with those Corruptors, in which case he would only be against Swarmhosts and Roaches, and obviously Void Rays are going to do very well against those.
I mean, but, so far things are looking really, really good, and ultimately this is a bit of a problem for Tefel, is that while he's losing everything, he doesn't know about the hidden bases. There's the base south of the natural as well, and this is doing a really nice amount. The army even coming back, engaging these Swarm hosts and Corruptors head on. Is there detection around that? I believe that there isn't, so no way to deal with those Swarm hosts for the time being, but the Void Rays doing a great job of cleaning out those Corruptors, should be able to knock them all out.
Oh, it's going to be very close. Only one Corruptor left is going to fall. We have 4 Void Rays left. And CranK doing a good job of targeting these Corruptors with his Stalkers as well. He knows that if he takes them all out, his Void Rays are going to be left uncontested. But I mean, he doesn't have detection right now, so those Swarmhosts, they're going to keep on doing damage. He needs to make an Oracle to detect them, maybe.
Yeah, it's something that is a real big problem, and without that Robo, as you quite rightly said, no detection available, no Oracle coming out, and as a result of this, we've got straight away these 3 Stargates having to chrono boost like mad, but this game getting pretty interesting because still the Zealots are working away at Tefel's base.
Yeah, Tefel, actually, his economy was completely ruined. He's down to 31 drones to 65 probes. So CranK is doing very well on the economy side of things right now. With almost 2,000 income against only 800, he's trying to get more Void Rays, as always, to help against this. And Tefel, since his economy is a complete wreck right now, he's not able to make enough Corruptors or Mutas to deal with those air units. And look at the Warp Prism in the main of Tefel. He's ready to warp as well as those Void Rays start dispatching
all of the
roaches, yeah.
Now the problem for Tefel is he's doing this, and I'm surprised he's not wondering where is all this money coming from. Because looking at his vision, he's only now just seen that base, the 4th base to the south position, and he has still no idea about that hidden expansion to the top left. Such a smart play by CranK there.
Yeah, and a couple Zealots are going to do some more damage. I'm actually surprised that Tefel never scouted this base, and I think CranK might be able to do it here. I mean, Tefel is trying to make as many Corruptors as possible, but he's only up to 4 Corruptors right now. If CranK was to get an Oracle finally, he will be able to detect all of the Swarmhosts, and in that case, I think they're going to fall very rapidly to this Void Rays. He's actually getting a Robo instead.
Yeah, I can see why. He wants the Observer, he wants the permanent detection, but he could have dealt with this so much earlier. Like you said, if he just got an Oracle out, it would have been so much easier, so much quicker. And now he's just kind of doing it the hard way, but he is in a much better economic position still than Tefel is, and he's still dropping with those Zealots.
And CranK, he actually let all of his probes at the top right, middle right-hand side base die, instead of transferring them somewhere, waiting to get rid of this Swarm host. We have an Observer about to come out. He's going to be rallied right into the Swarm host. And the Corruptors, they're going to have to save them, but there's only 6 of them trying to fight against 12 Void Rays. That's a game of numbers as well.
That is a game of numbers, and also Void Rays are pretty good units now in Heart of the Swarm, so it's going to be a near impossible battle. But there's no detection either, so he can't take out the Observer, so that's not even a possibility. And now we see the Void Rays starting to work down on those Corruptors. They're forced back, Prismatic alignment being used, and with detection, the Swarm hosts are just going down in like half a second.
And look at the minimap. Tefel is getting attacked everywhere by Zealots. Right now, CranK is the swarm. He's swarming his opponent with Zealots all over the place just from a couple pylons and War Prisms.